They would never hire someone that does not speak French. It was a paid internship. I was charging about 50 francs per hour. A lot of students that would cook and deliver. I was working until 5 a.m. in the morning, and then I would wake up at 7 to go to school. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Layla. This is a platform that I use to talk about personal, educational, and professional development. And I have previously made a video for you guys on studying in Switzerland. And you guys know that I have previously made a video for you on studying in Switzerland. I graduated with a bachelor's in business administration degree from Les Roches International School of Hotel Management in Switzerland. In 2017, I graduated with honors and distinction and with 2 internships on my diploma. So I wanted to talk a little bit about internships, jobs, and financial independence as a student in Switzerland. When I was making that video, I knew that there were going to be a lot of questions about the financial side of the story. Switzerland is a very expensive country, and Les Roches is a very, very expensive school. I studied in Les Roches with 100% scholarship, which I received from the Ministry of Education in Azerbaijan. That was the only reason why I was able to afford my education in Switzerland. Other than that, there are a lot of colleges in Switzerland that are much cheaper if you are a Swiss resident, or much more affordable if you are an EU resident. I'm not going to be sharing a lot of information about scholarships today because scholarships change, from year to year. A lot of scholarships come in and out of the market. Their eligibility changes, their terms and conditions change. That will be up to you to Google active scholarships that are currently available for education in Switzerland. What I want to talk about today in today's video is the B permit, the visa that allows you to work in Switzerland, and jobs that you could get in Switzerland as a student. So during my first year in Switzerland, I was already looking for opportunities to work and to make money. And as a new student in Switzerland with the new program and everything, it was very, very difficult for me to land a job, a part-time job, without knowing French and to really find a way to self-sustain. But luckily, I was living on campus and eating on campus, and I was basically owing money to my school, which I would have to pay back within the following semester. So what I did is, during my first semester, I lived on campus. I had a very little bit of money on personal spending, which I saved up from my scholarship. My scholarship was also providing a little bit of money, which was just enough for some personal expenses. But the money was not enough for some of the other major expenses, such as accommodation or food, or say if I wanted to travel, go somewhere, do something, I wouldn't be able to do that because the money was just not enough. So my first semester was literally a semester of financial survival, but I was lucky because I was living on campus, which was mandatory. I was eating on campus, which was also mandatory, and that way I did not have to pay all of that money in advance to the school. But I knew that during my second semester, I wanted to do an internship, and I started applying for jobs during my first semester. So I was applying to entry-level hospitality jobs in Europe. I did not want to stay in Switzerland during my second semester because I had thought that if I do have an opportunity to get a work visa in a different country, why wouldn't I do that? So I started applying for jobs all over the world, and I got an offer from Marriott Hotel Grand Plus in Belgium, in Brussels. I obviously accepted the offer. It was a paid internship, and I was ready to go. I spent my second semester living and working only in Belgium. And it was amazing because I was able to take a break from all of my classes and from, a full semester of an intensive academic program. And I was able to really put myself out there in the industry, gain some knowledge, gain some experience, as well as make some money. When I went back to Switzerland during my third semester, I knew that I was going to be on campus during semester 3 and semester 4 before doing my next internship during my 5th semester. On my 3rd semester, when I went back on campus, I was determined to get a job, to get a part-time job, and to start earning money and to really stop stressing about paying for school and paying for my personal expenses. During my 3rd semester, I was living off campus. The school made an exception for me because they knew I was in a difficult financial situation. I communicated my circumstances to the school. They were very, very understanding and respectful of my financial situation, and they allowed me to live off campus during my 3rd semester. That normally does not happen in Les Roches. It is mandatory to be living on campus during your 3rd semester as well. Living off campus was much cheaper for me. At the time, I was living with my ex-partner. We were living together. We were paying about 450 francs each for a studio apartment, which was a little bit farther from school, but at least it was very, very affordable considering how expensive accommodation can be in Switzerland. During my 3rd semester, as soon as I came back on campus, I updated my resume with my work experience from Belgium as well. I previously had work experience from Azerbaijan as well, and I created a resume and I started applying for jobs. I had thought that because I did not speak French, I was still taking French 3 at school. I wasn't very proficient in French, and I had thought that the best skill for me to monetize would be my English. So I applied for multiple jobs to start teaching English at local schools in my little town of Crans-Montana. I was applying for schools, and in the process of it, I was talking to my friends and I was sharing my journey with them, and I was getting a lot of weird reactions such as, they'll never respond to you, or you don't speak French, and they would never hire someone that does not speak French, or you're not local, things like that. But fortunately, in just a matter of a couple days, a language and a ski school in Crans-Montana got back to me with an email for an interview. I obviously dressed up in my best clothes and my best professional clothes. I went to the interview prepared with a sample lesson plan. I went into that interview with a lot of hope and a lot of determination. I really needed to get that job. I went in, did the interview, and in just a couple days, I got an email that I got the job. It was a small business. There weren't a lot of employees. I felt very, very lucky to have gotten that job. I started teaching English to primary school kids in that school. I was teaching English as a second language. I was using their books and their methods, and it was a very fun job. They were paying me 23 francs per hour. I was doing about 10 to 13 hours per week. Going forward, I started doing more hours, and then my manager was asking me for some extra help. I would help her with some administrative jobs. I would help her with some management roles. I was taking care of a lot of things at that school, and I was making just enough to live a decent life. On the other hand, as a side job, I was working as a server at multiple, mostly golf events in Switzerland. I would go and serve at an event for about 45 hours, get 100 francs, and save that as well for accommodation, food, and all the other necessities of life. My 3rd semester was a wonderful semester where I was able to make a lot of money, and on the other hand, I was able to enjoy my academic semester without, the stress of that financial burden. I obviously continued this job onto my 4th semester, and during my 4th semester, what happened is the school got closed down, so I lost my job at the school because my manager was getting married to a person that was living in another city. So she was moving out of Crans, Montana, and she was selling the school. Once she shut the school down during my 4th semester, I started looking for other opportunities. A lot of the students that were going to that school were left without the school, they were left without a teacher, they were left without their programs basically. So they started looking for me and they started booking me directly as a private ESL teacher, which was amazing because this time around, I was able to charge them a little bit more than the school was paying me. I was charging about 50 francs per hour. I was able to get as many students as I like, and I was able to basically start working as a solopreneur with my own mini virtual ESL school. I had multiple students. I was making a lot more money and working a lot less, and I was honestly enjoying what I was doing. I was having a really good time. During my 4th semester, I also started offering tutoring on campus. I would tutor students, prepare them for exams. I would check their homework. I would do a lot of academic assistance for students, and I would also get paid for that as well. So this is how I basically spent my 4th semester. I ended up making a lot of money, a lot more than I expected, and I was able to save a little bit, and I was able to travel to Canada. That semester, I found some really cheap tickets online. And I was just able to do so much with my solopreneurship mini virtual ESL business. During my 5th semester, I chose to stay in Switzerland and to do my internship on campus at Les Roches in Switzerland. There was a fine dining restaurant at my school called Taco, and getting an internship at Taco was a dream job for many. And I applied for the job. I got accepted. My school was very kind to me because they knew I had to support myself financially, and I had no, financial support either from my parents or from, my scholarship. They offered me free accommodation and free food for an entire semester. It was also a paid internship. That meant that I had absolutely no major expenses for that semester. I was able to live on campus. I was able to eat on campus for free, and I was still making a good amount of money. I saved up about $10,000 from that semester alone. I was working full-time at Taco Restaurant as a restaurant manager intern, and I was also keeping my ESL jobs. And on top of all that, I started doing nightclub photography at a local nightclub in Crans, Montana. I would basically go in with my camera on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday nights. I would take pictures of the students. I would come home, edit the pictures, upload them on Facebook, and I got paid $50 to $100 per night for doing that as a side job. My 5th semester was the most profitable semester of all times during my career at Les Roches. And during that semester, I was also able to save a lot of money for my immigration and transition processes into the United States. During my 6th and 7th semester, I was still working as an ESL teacher. I was still doing my little ESL business. I was still tutoring. I was still doing nightclub photography. So I was still able to maintain those little jobs and to have these multiple streams of income for myself. So yeah, Switzerland is a very expensive country. It can be very difficult to survive, but I knew a lot of other students who also were literally creating side jobs for themselves. For example, we had a huge issue with public transportation in the city where I was living. So a lot of the students would get cars and they would work as, taxi drivers for students on campus. I knew a lot of students that would cook and deliver. I knew a lot of students that worked as servers, bartenders, anything that you can imagine they did to support themselves. We had a student that worked at the library to get a discount on her tuition fee, and she actually graduated as a valedictorian, working and studying both at the same time. during my last 2 semesters, I was a little worried because I knew that working that much could compromise my grades. It could compromise my career at Les Roches, because there were certain days when I was working till 5 a.m. in the morning, and then I would wake up at 7 to go to school, and I would literally fall asleep in my class. And I was really trying to be very, very careful not to compromise on my grades and performance at school. And I was still able to graduate with honors and distinction, and I was still able to get approved for a dissertation and all of that, which I'm very, very proud of. All in all, you know, looking back at my career in Les Roches, I'm honestly super, super grateful for the fact that I did not have money or the financial support by my parents or by, you know, my scholarship program. I'm actually very grateful because it kind of developed a huge character in me, a character that knows how to survive, create streams of income, a character that knows how to save and self-sustain. And I was also obviously financially independent in Azerbaijan before I got to Switzerland. I left home at 17 and I was working, you know, as of 17, you know, as an ESL teacher in Azerbaijan. I hope that this video was useful for you guys. When you go to Switzerland, just make sure that you know that as a student, you are allowed to work for up to 20 hours per week, and make sure to demand the minimum wage that you deserve for the job that you do. I wish you guys a lot of luck if you're going to Switzerland, if you're currently living in Switzerland and looking for jobs. Just be persistent. When you're looking for a job, knock on all possible doors, follow up on your applications, go to restaurants, go to nightclubs, go to bars. Definitely ask for what you need. So yeah, I hope that this video was useful for you guys, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching.